whispered logic puzzles. Thank you for joining me. I'm Andrea, and I'm going to play through some Nonogram puzzles in the Pictopix application. Continuing on the second mosaic. We'll do 3 puzzles. Each of these puzzles is 15 by 15. Okay, let me see where I'm going to start. I'm actually going to start at this edge because I have 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus the 2 x's in between make it 15. So this will be an edge that will go all the way down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an X. 1, 2. Okay, now we're going to look at how each of these rows ends. This row ends with 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an X. This row ends in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an X. This row has 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This row ends in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an X. This row ends in 3. 1, 2, 3, and then an X. This row ends in 1. This row ends in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an X. This row ends in 3. 1, 2, 3, and then an X. This row ends in 2. 1, 2, and then an X. This row ends in 1. This row ends in 1. This row ends in 1. And this row ends in 1. I'm going to look at this column. We have the 5 complete. And then there's a 4. I've already got 3. So there's 4. And now this column is complete. This one right here is the end over here. So this is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, this column I have the 4 at the beginning. Next is 3. Got 1, 2, and here's 3. Looking in this row, this is part of a 3 here, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, and then an X. Okay. This column started with 4, and then had 3. This column started with 4, and then had 2. Okay. Let's see. This first row, there are 8 unclaimed spaces. There's supposed to be 7 in here. So if it started at this side, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's the 7th spot. If it started on this side, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. This next row, I'm also going to put in here because this has 8, which is exactly what we have left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in this row, we also have 8, which is exactly what we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I'm gonna look and say, okay, this column starts with 7. I don't know if this is 1, but I'll assume it's 1 so I don't go too far. And we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this spot could be an X, or it might be that last one, I don't know. So now this row starts with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this row is complete. This row starts with 3. 1, 2, 3, and then an X. This row starts with 2. 1, 2, and then an X. Now I'm going to come back up here. I see in this column, it starts with 4. There's an X here, so I know it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and now this row is complete. And this 7, I've already got 6 of them, and here's the 7th. And I can put an X down here. And this row starts with 1, so I can put an X right there. This column starts with 5, and so I can put the X under there. This row, now it needs 3, which is exactly what I have open. Go 1, 2, 3. Looking up here, this one is the beginning of 3 down. So 1, 2, 3, and then an X. this is the beginning of 3. 1, 2, 3. And now this column is complete. This column, this is the beginning of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this column is complete. Let's go to this row. I see that this is supposed to be 5. I've already got 4, so here's the 5th. And then this column, this is the beginning of a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an X. And looking up here, there's just 2 left, so I'll put those in. 1, 2. Okay, this row, this is a 4. I've already got 3 of them, so there's 4. And this row is complete. That row is complete. This row starts with 3. Actually, if I just do this part down, I can get a lot of this. This is the beginning of 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then an X. And then there's 2 down here, so 1, 2. Okay, so this row starts with 3, so I can put an X right here. Here's 2 over 3, so there's number 3. And then I got 2 down, so 1, 2, and an X. And then there's another 2, so we'll go 1, 2. Okay, so now along the bottom here, I've got 3 at the beginning and 1 at the end. In the middle we have 2, plus 1 makes 3, plus 2 makes 5, plus X is 6, X is 7. I have 7 squares left, so we'll do 1, 2, X, 1, X, 1, 2. And in this column it ends with 2, so it'll be 1, 2, X. This column ends in 1, so we'll go X. This column is complete. This column ends in 1. This column ends in 2, so I have 1, 2, X. I'm looking at this row is complete, so I'll put X's there. Okay, in these rows, there's 3, somewhere in here is a 2, somewhere in here is a 2, and here's a 2. So in these 3 squares there will be a 2. I know the center will be part of it, and in these 3 squares is a 2. So I know the center will be part of it. So looking at the column, this is part of 2, so we'll do 1, 2, and X's because that column's complete. And again here, 1, 2, and X's because the column's complete. I can come back down here. I see there's 2 single ones and only 2 spots, so we'll do 1 and 1. Looking at this column, I can put an X right there because that's a single, and I can put an X right there. Now this row has 2 single ones and there's 2 spots, so we'll do 1 and 1. And this column, this goes 1, 2, and the column's complete. And this column, 1, 2, and the column's complete. Okay, now this row is complete. This row I've got 2, so 1, 2, and another 2, so 1, 2. And there we go. Completed that puzzle. Alright, let's go ahead and check out the next one. I'm going to start along the right side again. This will be easy because it's 15, so these will all be highlighted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, in this top row, this is part of a 12. So do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then an X. This is part of 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then I can put an X. This is part of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then I can put an X. I'm just going to come up here for a second because I noticed this only has 3 left and there's 3 openings, so we'll just do the 1, 2, 3, and this row has 4 left and 4 openings. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we'll come back over here. This row ends with 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then an X. It then has 3 plus 1 is 4, and the X is 5. So we'll put those in. We'll do 1, 2, 3, and then an X, and 1. This row ends with 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then an X. And then we have 6 more, and that's all we have, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just to come back to this first row, I notice in this column it starts with 2, so above these 2 there's an X. And now the 1 from this row goes right there. Okay, so this row ends with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ends in 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then an X, and then another 7. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And looking up here, this column is complete, so I'll put X's. This row ends in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This row ends in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've noticed that this row I have the rest for it, but this row, okay, so there's 7, but there's 8 spots. If I look up here though, this first column starts with a 7, which is complete. So I'll put the X here so I can put in the 7 of this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this row has a 1, and then a 6, which is 7, and the X in between is 8. So that fills all 8 of these openings. So do 1, X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then I've noticed that this column is complete also. So I'll put X's down there. Okay, this row ends with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I then have 6 plus 1, which is 7. The X in between is 8, and I have 8 openings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then an X, and 1. This row ends in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I then at the beginning have 5 plus 2 is 7, and the X in between is 8. And I have 8 openings, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an X, and 1, 2. Okay, observing this column is complete, so I'm going to put X's here. Okay, this row ends in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have 5 in this 5 and a 2. So do 1, is complete, so I'll put X's across it. This row ends in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It then has another 5 and 2, which is exactly how much space I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, and this row again ends in 5, then has another 5 and a 2. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, and there we go. We finished the second of our 3 puzzles. So one more. I'm going to start this one the same as the last. We'll do the 15 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, This row ends with 14. Actually, that's all it has is 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then an X. This row has 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This row has 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This row has 12, and then 2 is 14, and the X in between is 15. So over here has 1, 2, and the X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This row has 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, Interesting. So it's definitely like a space